Alright, today we have a video, 4 things I wish I knew before taking Mk677. Let's go ahead and take a look. Let's see what he has to say, because I've actually considered taking it myself, but I'm not really sure whether or not I will. So let's go ahead and see what he has to say and see if he persuades me one way or the other.
And potentially life-threatening things that I learned about MK is that it...
What is your profession?
Mk677, I beat him more. The 4 things I learned from taking this on and off the last 2 years, and my personal opinion as unbiased as I possibly can. Luckily, I was able to get it prescribed by Transcend, but it's not perfect and it does have its caveats. I get extremely lethargic taking this, especially in the mornings. I've heard of a few that take it in the morning, however, personally, I like to take mine at night, as I know that most do, and I found that it actually aids me in getting better sleep. I do still feel a tiny little bit lethargic the following day after I take that dose at night. I would further describe that feeling.
Alright, I've heard this. I've heard that Mk677 increases sleep quality, and that's because when you sleep, you release growth hormone, and Mk677 releases the hormone ghrelin, which in turn releases and increases the levels of growth hormone in the body. So by inducing growth hormone, I believe you put the brain into a more GABAergic state, but I might be wrong about that, so don't quote me. Go ahead and take a look, see what you say. I'm just reacting right now.
Feeling is a little bit cloudy in the morning, and it's a little bit more difficult to get out of bed. It increases insulin resistance and blood pressure over a long period of time. To combat that, it may be beneficial to take days off. At 20 to 25 milligrams, a doctor from Transcend recommended 5 days on and 2 days off, which is what I am currently doing for my bulk. Another good idea is to cycle off after some time. 10 weeks seems to be a standard, however, everybody is different. A great way to monitor how you respond to it is to monitor your IGF-1 levels through blood work. In regards to the increase in insulin resistance, just to be extra safe, I personally bought a blood glucose monitor to monitor my blood sugar periodically. Literally just 30 bucks off of Amazon. One of the most important and potentially life-threatening things that I learned about MK is that it's pretty important to monitor your blood glucose because an
Oh, well, I never knew that a blood glucose monitor would be so cheap. So I might consider getting one myself just to monitor after I go ahead and pig out, because I have a tendency to pig out. Like, the majority of my life I eat a healthy diet. I avoid sugars, but on Sundays I visit my grandma. My mom lives with her right now, and you already know Latino grandmas. They're gonna hook you up with some food, dessert. It's a big pig session on Sundays, so yeah, it would be interesting for me to monitor this, and if it's too high, I would probably consider fasting for at least half the day on Monday to go ahead and take it back down.
Elevated blood glucose over a long period of time can lead to diabetes. I would look for a blood sugar below 100 nanograms per deciliter if taken fasted in the morning, or below 140 if taken non-fasted. A fish diet and adding fish oil supplementation could also potentially help combat that increase in insulin resistance. Berberine could help, which is an over-the-counter substance found in tree bark that acts similarly to metformin. However, I've found that it kind of increases some stomach discomfort and flatulence. I think it could be protein farts, but the fart frequency definitely went up for sure. Also, something that I think that's important to note, berberine and metformin, even though there are claims that it could help aid in muscle building through glycogen storage, there are some accounts and research stating that berberine and metformin could potentially blunt muscle building through the pathways of mTOR and AMPK, which increases exercise stress. So instead of relying on these substances, I would personally just monitor your blood glucose. MK increases ghrelin and thus made me so much hungrier, so much hungrier.
Alright, before he goes on, I was actually going to mention that about berberine, if he didn't mention it, so he did mention it, which, yeah, I've heard that it can decrease athletic performance slightly when you take berberine or metformin, which is why I have not considered it. Although, for example, Tony Huge, he takes berberine, I think, every day alongside with Mk677, but then again, Tony Huge takes tons and tons of things, so I wouldn't necessarily follow in his footsteps.
which came in handy if I was in a bulk, obviously. But if you're in a cut, this is definitely going to work against you. If you're prone to gaining weight easily, I would probably reconsider using this. However, if you're a hard gainer, then this is going to be a tool in your arsenal. I gained a lot of water weight. With the water retention though came a lot of muscle fullness and personally some sick ass pumps in the gym. If say it's like summertime and you're trying to look shredded and dry consistently, say like every day, then I would probably advise against taking MK. However, I did notice that my water was most dominant the day following the dose that I took that night. The next day I would see some water weight fall off, and then the next following day, skipping that night dose as well, I would see even more water weight fall off. So if I wanted to look dry and not hold a lot of water retention for say the weekend, then I would take Thursday and Friday as my off days off of MK, and then Friday and Saturday I would find myself looking drier and less watery. Overall, there are both pros and cons to using this peptide. There's definitely a lot of things that you should definitely look out for when you start taking it, especially your blood glucose and your blood sugar, but I would personally say that for me, I found it to be more beneficial than not. I've gotten amazing pumps in the gym. I've gotten great sleep. And I have noticed that it does somewhat help with keeping my fat gain low and helping me build more muscle. It's not something I would take on a cut, but whenever I've been trying to build more muscle, especially now that I'm on a real bulk, it is definitely coming in handy. For my current bulk right now, I'm planning on taking it about 10 weeks at 5 days on, 2 days off, and then cycle off after those 10 weeks are over. And I will keep you guys logged with the progress and let you know if anything changes about my opinion of MK. If you guys are feeling symptoms of low T, then get your blood work done by clicking the link.
I think that wraps it up. So I'm just going to be 100% honest with you guys. My thing that's holding me back from taking Mk677, because apart from the benefits that he mentioned, Mk677 also increases growth hormone in the brain, which in turn increases neurogenesis, which is great for brain health. And increasing sleep quality obviously will improve brain health as well and improve the possibility of neurogenesis as well. Is that growth hormone has the potential to cause growth in other areas besides just the skeletal muscle and the brain. Obviously, there's a possibility that it might change the way you look. It can cause growth in your nose or parts of your face, and that's basically it. It's vanity. I'm worried about it changing the structure of my face. So if any of you guys have taken Mk677 and have noticed any change in the structure of your face, go ahead and let me know. Or if that's a completely idiotic concern, go ahead and let me know. Thanks for watching, and I may consider it, right? So if I get enough evidence that it won't change the structure of my face, I may consider it. And also I would probably do like a super light cycle, probably like 3 times a week or something like that. Not something overly drastic just because of my paranoia of the side effects. But I'll go ahead and check you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out.